Hello everyone, this is Brian Bentley at CoinOpTV bringing you gameplay and commentary for Transistor on the PlayStation 4. Transistor is created by Supergiant Games, who you may know them from Bastion. First off, this game, and as you can tell just from looking at it right off the bat, is gorgeous. The art style, just the little details in just the Art Deco sort of motif that's going on. So, you are playing as a woman named Red, and she is, being hunted by the process. We'll get into what just happened there as we for the tactical battle part. But so you're playing as Red. This person who is at this point in the game is listed as unknown. He was stabbed by this process sword, and then he was absorbed into the sword. So you start the game by pulling the sword out, sort of like a sword in the stone sort of motif, and then you get started on this journey. Like I said, the art style is just phenomenal. It kind of has that narrating thing that Bastion had. This time it's the sword that does the narration for you. Red, of course, does not speak. Her voice was stolen. As you move along, you actually find other people that are you can absorb into the sword, thus giving you different skill sets. So there's the original, what they call Crash. And so everything is sort of put into this process idea. So every type of, skill, so if it's called Crash, then it's Crash and has the open and closed parentheses to indicate a programming language type, process or, job function. So Crash is, short range. There's Breach, which is kind of a long range. What I have on the square right now is kind of like a where you pull them over onto your side, and then last, like right now, on the triangle I have it's like a dash. I think they call it jaunt, but it's more of a dash. So now, kind of how the battle system works is, you can move around and you can attack, and then you jump into what we're looking at right now is this, it's sort of like a turn-based thing, and, each, walking takes up turns, for lack of a better term, active, step battle thing. So, you can then pick, your different types of, so you see I'm about to go off on the operator right now. And so then you use your different skills, then it kind of does it very quickly, and then you can continue attacking once your meter fills back up. So you can either then continue in this real-time battle system, or you can jump into that where it pauses it. And so there is sort of this there I did a little flourish. So there is this sort of idea of tactical battle system, as well as, action. So I will say, if you're looking for a hack and slash type game, this is not for you. It's more than just being that, sort of, button mashing thing. This is definitely, more strategic overall. I personally find the battle system interesting. I like the idea of being able to stop and make decisions. So there's a jaunt, and I have a passive skill on the jaunt where it puts up sort of a decoy, and which will... so it does that decoy so that then they'll attack that. So now we're about to meet a new battle, a new enemy called the Clucker. And the Clucker kind of shoots a long-range shot. Different processes do different things.
Hey, get back here.
It's interesting how so you see I have my decoy out there, and it was shooting at the decoy rather than me. I like what I guess I like about most about the combat is there are a bunch of different types of processes or functions that you can use. So I personally like this setup right now. I've changed it since then, but to me, I like this idea of, you know, being able to make my choices, you know, which then I can, you know, increase the number of, you know, strategic options I have, where I don't feel like, you know, sometimes I admit that I do tend to get into a habit of, you know, I don't want to say panicking, but, you know, like when I get into those situations. And this I like, I can plan out, you know, the steps I take, you know, that way I can do better at, you know, during the battle. So now I moved up to level 5 right at this point, and so the different functions. So each function that you get, you know, has a, so you could use it as an active skill, you can use it as an active effect, and you can also use it as a passive effect. So in each of those cases, it has sort of it does something a little bit different. Each function, of course, you know, has its own, you know, general thing. So, you know, if it's an explosion that shoots out little balls, you know, when it's, you know, normal, then, you know, if it's an active skill, then, you know, you fire out balls. I put it as an active skill on my breach, so that when the breach fires, it's not a straight line; it shoots out like a spread weapon. I'm not really sure what the passive for that skill is. Now, you notice there when I leveled up, I got basically an active skill, you know, a passive skill, and then I got a limiter. So a limiter kind of changes how the game operates. And it gives you, you know, it increases the difficulty, and then gives you a small boost for taking the increase in difficulty. So the one limiter I'm putting on, you know, gives the enemies a chance to spawn extra, but it also gives me a 2% bonus in experience once I've finished. So, the nice thing about the time battle is you can go back, you can erase, you can, you know, do something, you know, and tweak it until you get, you know, the kind of thing that you want. So it's, you know, it's very, you know, it's reflexive. So I really, really appreciate that. And right here, I can avoid now getting shot by this by running away from it. And the next thing I can talk about is just how amazing the sound is. The music itself is tremendous. You can just hear by what you're hearing now. I do like that they have these sort of terminals, so you can go, and it's sort of, you know, different. It gives you, you know, like what other people have chosen. Yeah. So I find these, you know, these are just little bits that you kind of run into these choices. So I just make a random selection. Now, it was kind of interesting. There have been times where on some of those polls or whatever, the sword goes and, you know, gives me suggestions. So sometimes I go with that. So I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to... so now I can actually put something into a passive slot versus an active slot, and then I think I actually put on a limiter here as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Yeah. So other things I really like about the game, you know, just being able to make these choices. Oh, here I'm going to put on a limiter here. So. Sometimes the process will spawn extra, but then I get a little bonus. So of course the process is bad, and you're trying to hunt down the process. The sword tries to convince you to, you know, run away, and then of course you want to go forward and attack and get back your life.
Guess who?
So these guys are really... The bad cells are kind of interesting just because they move around so quickly. But I really like the variety of enemies. Seems pretty interesting so far. Personally, I like the strategic elements that are in the game, but I can understand people who may not vibe on this kind of battle system, because it is different from what we received in Bastion. But personally, to me, that is a bonus rather than a detriment. Now, in between sections, you do have a chance to go to a special area where they have skill challenges, so speed tests and process tests, like how well you plan the tests themselves, that sort of thing. So this part, like kill everybody in like one turn. So you have to consider what you can do and then execute on that. There's also a few other cute little things in there, and you can, there's a jukebox. You can listen to the different music and the soundtrack, so that's kind of nice. Now, one of the things that I find interesting, but also slightly annoying, is, and I choose to view it as a challenge. So when you die, you don't really die. What happens is you can see my life bar above the skills at the bottom, but the key is when you run out of life, then you lose one of your functions. Like it kind of becomes disabled. They call it overloaded, but it becomes disabled. Now, when you obviously lose all four, you're stuck, and then you're actually dead. But it's interesting that in most times, games will, they'll put you in a better position after you die, to make it easier. Now, this, to me, makes more of a challenge. Think about it that way. Like, all of a sudden you had 4 skills, and now you only have 3. And they really, especially when you can combo something, so if you backstab with Crash, what I currently have on the X button, it leaves them open to, and then I'll fire a Breach, which will increase the amount of damage because I combo it. Now, a lot of times Breach is the first one that they take away from me, so it automatically, fundamentally changes how I view and go after each battle. So I'm really enjoying it, and going to be working on the full review for you. So stay tuned to CoinOpTV for more on Transistor, and as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can get all of the updates that you can possibly handle about Skylanders and all the new next-gen games that are coming out in the upcoming year, and look for our E3 coverage. All right, that's it for me. We'll see you next time.